snip, also known as a straight snip, for making straight cuts on our metal. A couple of things to note about it. We have a safety lock right here. So if I squeeze my handles together, it pops a little bit. I'm gonna swing it out of the way, and now it will open, and now I'm free to cut metal with it. The other thing is, when you're looking closely, I've got a serrated edge in there that you can just see when you get really close. That is what is going to actually be cutting our metal. So now when I take the snips, I place them on the metal, it needs to be like so. Never want to be like this, or even straight up and down. But there is a little flat surface there that I want the metal to sit on. I do have a little groove here for my finger, and I am ready to cut the metal. So I'm going to actually place my snips on, and I'm going to begin to cut. So as I press down, I want to make sure that I don't go all the way, because if I go all the way, I make a little kink, and we don't want that kink. We want a nice smooth cut. So I'm going to do smooth, slow cuts. So here we have our file, and you've got different cross sections within our file. And I'll show you how to properly use it. A lot of people would like to take it as a file and go back and forth and back and forth, but proper use of a file is never that way. You only want to go in one direction and about a 45-degree angle. So now we're going to talk about drill bits, and we need to make sure that if we're using metal and we're drilling into metal, that we have the appropriate bit. Next, we want to actually take our proper size bit and match it up with our rivet to make sure that it matches. So if we're using a 1/8 rivet, typically we're going to use a 1/8 drill bit. So now we are going to insert our drill bit into our drill. This is known as a drill chuck. So we're going to open the drill, and we're going to insert this into the end, and then we are going to hand tighten. Now you can actually tighten a little bit tighter until it almost kind of clicks. So now we're going to talk about how to use a proper drill, and usually depending on our drill bit, we need to make sure that our setting is either at high speed or low speed. We also need to make sure that the safety is off, and we would have a direction. So if I have the arrow pushed this way, it means it will drill. If I push it the other way, that means it will reverse the drill bit so I can pull it out of something. The other part that you might want to do is put your hand on the back of the drill so it doesn't want to walk on the metal. The metal surface itself is quite slick. So this is a hand riveter. A couple of things that we need to know about it is we actually have a lock mechanism right here. This is how we store it. To unlock it, you just press the handle, slide this back, and open it up. Now it is ready to receive a rivet. Now we also have a couple of other parts here to our riveter. We have different size pieces here that will actually fit our rivet. So this is our mandrel here, and it would slide in like so. But we need to make sure that we have the proper size. So first of all, we're going to check and see. This one is too big. This one here is actually a pretty good size. This one here is also too big. And the one that we have here right now is also a little big. So now we are going to actually change this tip to this tip. The easiest way to do that is to unscrew this, and if it's too tight, we will have to get a wrench. When I am changing this piece, I want to make sure that it is in the locked position. While it is in the locked position, I am able to now, I've already taken this piece out. I'm just going to firmly tighten it until it is just kind of hand tight, not over tight. Now it is ready to receive our rivet. So I've already drilled a hole here ready for my rivet, but I want to make sure that it is actually going to fit. So using my drill with my 1/8 drill bit for my 1/8 rivet, I'm going to insert the drill like so, and then I'm going to want to kind of work it around just a little bit to make the hole adjust easy so it's not too hard to get my rivet in. Now our hole is ready for our rivet, so now I can slide it into my hole, and I'm going to get ready. I need 2 hands, that's why I've clamped down my piece. I need 2 hands to be able to do this, always making sure that I keep it pressed tightly to the metal. Otherwise, I will end up with a gap. So I'm going to pump like this. Now I need to make sure that this comes all the way back up. And pump again. And as soon as it catches like that, that means it has broken off and my rivet is done. But now I need to discharge my mandrel, which is still in the rivet gun. So I just dump it out like so. So now we're going to talk about our hacksaw, and we're going to talk about our hacksaw blade. The hacksaw blade actually has a number of small serrated teeth here to give us a really nice fine cut. So if you're cutting some thicker metal or you need to make a notch in something, this is a great tool for that. But oftentimes we have to change the saw blade. On the very end of your saw, you have this little piece that looks like it's kind of separate. We're going to actually turn that in a counterclockwise rotation. And as I turn it, it will slowly loosen the blade. So right now this is set for a straight cut application, but I'm going to change the position to a 45-degree angle so now I can cut on an angle. Okay, so again I take my piece, put it there, and then I want to make sure this is pushed all the way forward to catch. If it doesn't want to catch right away, I'm just going to loosen it off just a little bit more. And now it slides on tight. And then I'm just going to go now in a clockwise rotation, and it should begin to tighten my blade. There it is. And I'm just going to want to go until this is actually as tight as I can get it with my own strength. As long as the blade itself is not loose, you should be fine and it won't pop out. Now I can actually do an angled cut. So sometimes with thin metal, if we go forward, it wants to catch, but the blade is intended to cut in both directions. But we want to avoid a seesaw action like you would on wood. With metal, we always want to pull in one direction or the other. So because this is thin, we'll just pull it back. And see, it bounced a bit, it went a little too steep.